and gentlemen, welcome to Walking with J.Beau. I will be doing a selfie view today since the temperature is above 60 degrees finally, and there's no wind. It's an absolutely gorgeous day today in Maine. Beautiful. Got different things to talk about today. I'm going to start off with getting the mundane stuff out of the way, which coincidentally people find interesting. That would be, well, some people do anyway, but I added fuel additive to the snowblower today. Some fuel stabilizer. Ran it for a few minutes so it'll run through the system. And put the snow thrower in storage till next year. I think now that it is almost May, it may be safe. Usually we don't get anything past the first week of April. That's pretty much been the truth this year. So I could have done this sooner. I also prepped the lawnmower. Got to get a new air filter for it, I noticed. But it started right up after sitting all winter not being used. So that's always good. And that was a Craftsman lawnmower. And what I like about it is you don't have to change the oil in this model. And I know that sounds crazy, but what you do is you watch the oil level with the dipstick, and then you just add some when it starts getting low, and it kind of uses just the right amount of oil when it's running. If you constantly do that, it replaces the oil. So I just checked the oil. It looks somewhat clear, and it's been in there for 3-4 years now. Oil level's good. Also checked the air filter, as I mentioned. Snow thrower, some of them have air filters and some don't. Ours does not, but the lawnmower does. And the lawnmower needs one because you got a lot of grass clippings and dust and all kinds of stuff that gets kicked up by the rotor when it's cutting. So it took care of that. And the reason why I like the Craftsman lawnmower is it also has, you don't have to prime it. You just pull start it and it starts up. The system it has, you don't need to prime it with fuel. Very cool system. I like it a lot. It's been very reliable. Started right up. So I put some new fuel in it to mix with the old fuel. And we had a good green light go of it. It's the little things, folks, because in the past that hasn't always been the case. Like with the snow thrower, I had to disassemble the fuel system, clean it out. It was not fun, I must admit. Had to order a new O-ring kit and a carburetor rebuild kit on Amazon, and everything went easy peasy lemon squeezy, sort of. It was not a difficult machine to work on. So should be good for a while, I hope. But usually what happens is the fuel bowl in these types of 1- and 2-stroke engines get clogged. That's really the issue. It cuts off the fuel supply. And if there's any other issues besides that, usually it's a spark plug. It's old, worn, carboned. You can take that out and clean it with a wire brush. Make sure it's gapped properly. Stick it back in. Usually you can rejuvenate them like that. So anyway, that being said, absolutely gorgeous today. Finally got my nice warm walking weather this week. Did not walk yesterday. It was windy, a little cool, and I had to finish my guitar building project. So you may remember about a year ago I talked about building a guitar, because I do that. I've got 11 guitars now. I used to have a lot more than that, actually. Kind of crazy, sad story with that, but anyway, basically a relative, somebody I care a great deal about, needed emergency funds for something. So I sold about $10,000 worth of guitars, and it went for a good cause at the time. I was promised to be paid back. I was paid back most of it, and the rest of it, I guess, was just in limbo. Whatever. There's more important things in life. And I do miss those guitars. But anyway, that being said, always count your blessings when you pray to the Lord. Count your blessings, be thankful for what you have, not lusting for things you don't have. Got a roof over my head, I'm not starving. Very grateful. So I noticed in the news a terrorist attack in India, in Kashmir precisely. A tourist area. Turns out the initial headline said tourists were killed. It turns out that it is actually some Indian, kind of like officials who represent tourism, were killed because these Muslim militants in the area don't want tourism in their neck of the woods. Tourism is big money for people that do tourism. Maine is a good example of that. Maine lives or dies from tourism. So, and Maine is a beautiful place to come, make no mistake. That's why people come here. That's why a lot of famous people own property here. Everybody from Susan Sarandon to Dolly Parton to John Travolta, yada yada, etc., etc. So I'll take a Tucker Carlson over any of those people any day of the week, who also lives here in Maine. So anyway, I don't know the entire details of this terrorist attack, but I understand it's pretty terrible. I haven't followed up on it yet. I've been busy with other things domestically. And also, you know, the media is just a complete joke at this point. Trump is caving in on tariffs with China. No, he's not. He's negotiating. You go on full force to show that you're not screwing around, which is what he did. Then you say, okay, well, let's talk. Because this is unsustainable for both sides, which it is. And we did really well to get a lot of the rest of the world to not be a willing trade partner with China, which I thought was brilliant. So things will be worked out. I'm going to flip this around now and fix my friggin' selfie stick again. There we go. Hi everybody. I hope you're enjoying your day. Try to carry that without it rattling around too much. It's not too bad, I guess. So, yes, I'm wearing sunglasses today. Don't ask me why, I usually don't. Actually, I do know why. I was in the car, and these are the ones I keep in the car. Sometimes I wear them when driving. And I didn't get all the sleep I wanted last night. My eyes are kind of weird today. So I'm gonna wear the sunglasses. Anyway, might be one of the last times you see me wear them. It's not my favorite thing to wear when walking. I just thought I'd try them out today. They are kind of being a lot more easy on my eyes today, even though because of cortical cataracts I don't see the same contrast when wearing sunglasses, so things are a little less sharp to look at, which is why I don't wear them. But so cortical cataracts, I've explained them on the walk. I'm not going to go into that all again, but it takes a very long time for those to be an issue. But later on, they're going to affect me mainly driving at night. That's going to be the issue. And they don't do surgery on those until it has to be done. So, see what happens. Anyway, right now I still see fine in the distance, but my need for reading glasses has really increased in the last 5 years. So, but it has pretty much for everyone above a certain age. So anyway, Uncle Trump is installing 2 flagpoles today at the White House this afternoon. I should be back from my walk in time to watch that around 4:30 today. And he always runs late, so is installing 2 giant 100-foot flagpoles. He says out of his own pocket. Trump is paying for it, he said. No taxpayer money. So it's still fun watching the media not being able to find a story to stick and ruin Trump 2.0. They tried the Pete Hegseth Signalgate 2.0. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. Because everybody knows it's the media just doing their old tricks that everybody's sick of. So, what's the other thing? Well, as you can see, it's a lot warmer today. And it's nice just wearing a couple shirts. Pretty soon it'll just be a t-shirt and shorts. So anyway, they can't find anything that sticks, you know, and they're getting frustrated by it. Meanwhile, the Democrats are rooting for illegal aliens. I'm still absolutely baffled that the media is doing that, and the Democrats, that's the hill they're going to stand on. A topic that the majority of the public does not support. Everything they support is like that. Trans women and women's sports, naked men in girls' locker rooms. I mean, if you would have told me this stuff 20 years ago, any Democrat would have told you if the party ever went this way, they'd be finished. They wouldn't believe it if you went back in time and told them. So it boggles the mind that we have so many Democrat idiots elected to office, like this Jasmine Crockett. I was watching her interview somebody in a committee meeting. I don't even remember what it was. I was just flipping through the stuff on YouTube. She's asking them about things that have nothing to do with anything being discussed at the meeting. Like, do you support abortion? What does that have to do with anything that they weren't there for? She just wants the video clip for her profile so she can fundraise. Grandstanding, showboating. There's a lot of Republicans that do that too, and I wish they wouldn't. A grifter like Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Chip Roy, Crenshaw from Texas. It's an endless list. They have the grandstand and showboat to fundraise. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, you're there to govern, right? So anyway, we're out on our walk. Wow, look at this sky. Check this out. Nice looking sky today. the selfie stick. So we're going to watch President Trump, who's been talking about the amounts of money being brought into the United States with tariffs, which is what we wanted. Republicans are going to be doing a tax bill coming up, which I'm sure will pass. Democrats are going to try to interfere with that, but I don't think they will succeed, because even the Democrats don't want to say, we're not cutting your taxes. They're going to showboat a little bit with it. Really hate how things are done in Augusta, Maine here and Washington, D.C. In Augusta, Maine, they're angering a lot of citizens with how they're doing things. And they never learn. They lost seats in the last election. Well, I don't want to say they never learn. There was actually, I'll flip the camera back around. There were 2 pro-trans bills that were pulled last minute. The Democrats pulled them by their sponsors who sponsored them. Both of them were pro-trans bills. I don't even remember what they were, to be honest with you. 2 bills. They got pulled. So they won't even go to committee. They won't even be put forth. Which is probably temporary. They want to see how the dust is going to settle, but right now Democrats are realizing this is a losing issue for them, so that's really important. So is DEI, and they built that around. They built themselves all around that, so they're kind of tied to it. Eyebrows starting to get sweaty. Hi, how are you? Good. Beautiful today, absolutely gorgeous. I finally put the snowblower away. I think it's safe.
We hope so.
So, people seem happy today. Things are going well, despite what the media tries to make it look like. If you put it on CNN all day, you'll have a different picture of what's really going on. You know, because they paint everything with broad, biased narrative strokes. And they leave out a lot of the details. It was interesting watching CNN for a few minutes today, because like I said, I check them all out for 5-10 minutes a day just to see what the narrative of the day is. It doesn't take long to see what they're doing each day. And I'm not going to subject myself to that every day, all day long. But so they were talking about RFK's press conference he had yesterday. So they turned the whole media narrative into RFK Jr. is going to have access to your files and your personal data. This is the big thing they've been pushing with this entire new Trump administration. Violating your personal space, your rights, your information, your data. Doge is having access to your data. Project 2025. So they're still pushing that. And online, every single person on the left that I saw online yesterday was all parroting RFK Jr. violating their HIPAA rights and privacy. Doesn't matter to them that RFK Jr. wants to make the food safe. Doesn't matter to them that they want to find a cure and prevent autism. And it's true. If they found a cure for cancer, meaning the Trump administration, they would do like they tried to do with the vaccines previously. Remember that? Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and other people. I'm not going to trust any vaccine this administration comes out with. I'm not going to do it. Remember that? And then when public opinion from their own voters and the people that pull their strings, like Big Pharma, money, told them to stop doing that, they stopped doing it. So it's pretty friggin' obvious what DC is controlled by, and that's why they don't like Trump and RFK Jr., because they're not controlled by money, lobby money. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. So anyway, these people are, you know, if Trump said gold was the greatest thing, real gold, the Democrats would say, gold isn't gold, it's lead. Throw your gold away. If you keep your gold, you're supporting Trump. And these idiots would do it. It's crazy. These people are crazy. So now they're supporting illegal aliens. They're supporting violent wife-beating illegal aliens. They're supporting not finding a cause for autism. They're supporting for keeping the petroleum-based poisonous additives in food just because RFK wants to get rid of them. He's not qualified. He shouldn't be doing that. And that's all media narrative. It's amazing how easily influenced people are. And you wonder how 1930s Germany started and how that happened. Well, now you know. We saw it during COVID. So all RFK Jr. said was, we want to find out what's causing autism. It has to be an environmental factor. So what's the narrative after he says that? It's genetic. It's genetic. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and nobody knows what causes it. So they can't even say it's genetic. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness. Can God cook or what? So, you know, Trump administration or somebody in it says black is blue, they'll turn around and say it's black. Black is black. Now, if you say blue is blue, they'll turn around and say, no, blue is really black. It's like whatever the Trump administration says, these people are programmed to be contrary, regardless of what it is. And it's a damn shame. You know, and they're making fun of Elon Musk for losing so much stock value for Tesla. And that'll recover. And it's a damn shame that that even happened. To be honest with you. People are simple and they don't think for themselves. Well, isn't that beautiful? Hi, how you doing? Hello. How are people out walking today? Camp wood, $5. There's no wood. This is that place where they get some bees out back. Way out back there, they get some bees. Looks like they're in the process of either redoing them or something. Probably harvesting honey. See some well heads here. Old well heads. I don't think people use them anymore for wells out here. But this used to be all dirt roads out here 30, 40 years ago. Maybe longer. There's the alpaca lady. Doggy go barky. I'm going to cross the street because I like having cars coming towards me rather than at my back. I think we'll stop in and take a look at the swamp. See what the swamp is doing today. Dry storage units. See if we can see any waterfowl out here today. My older brother said this looks like a good place for fishing for bass or pickerel. Oh look, we got geese right there. Absolutely beautiful. Isn't that nice? I think I'm going to come down here once in a while on my walks. Check that out. Did you see those two Canadian geese? And those beautiful birds. Beautiful birds. Honkers. Honk, honk. Honk if you love geese. Isn't that nice? Wow, the wingspan on those is huge. Did you see them take off? They started honking and away they went. I like how they take off above the water, dragging in the water a little bit. There they are. They took off and circled back. See that? Isn't that cool? They look a lot bigger in person than they do on the camera. So that's what I was telling you. And get out and walk. You're going to see something different every day you go out. Hopefully we're not going to find syringes today. That's pretty sad when you get some nice bodies of water around here, campgrounds, cabins. And then when you're walking, you find syringes, you know, in this neighborhood, of all places. Here's some more geese out there. They're really honking it up today. Why not? It's a nice day. Now we're passing what I call the turkey crossing. See a lot of turkeys cross over here. Amazing how much less my back performs when I haven't had enough sleep. Nagging at me a little bit today. Past few walks, the last walk I was on, nothing bothered me at all. Now my back feels a little fatigued. The muscles. Welcome to getting old. We shall make it like we've made it through everything else so far, right? Looks like some landscaping up ahead. You can hear it. Sounds like a big angry bee. Now that reminds me, okay? I had the Boston Marathon this past, was it Monday? Whatever it was. And they had the women's over 50 section. And there was this trans woman in it. Which, you know, Boston Marathon over 50, yeah, why not, right? The hell with it. Like I said, I got nothing against transsexuals. I just don't like the transgender ideology. So anyway, this trans woman had a kind of like a black and white themed, like a bumblebee, with black and white striped socks and a little black and white frilly skirt. I'm like, okay, well, you look at all the other women competing and they're just wearing tank tops and shorts and sneakers because they're there to run, right? And that's the problem people have with the trans cult, I'll call it, is it's obviously fetishism, because that is a male's viewpoint of what's cute about girls. Cutesy little clothes, and you know, a lot of the ones you see online, they use anime themed profiles. They pose with rabbit ears and stuffed animals, and you know, they're trying to be taken seriously. That, I don't see women do that. And if they do, they stop doing it when they're 13, which is the whole point I'm making. So it's some kind of fetishism, and that's why people don't accept it. Now, if you just go there and look like a normal person with a tank top and shorts, like you're there to run in a marathon, nobody would care. I guess that's the point I'm making. Landscapers. I guess it's time for me to do landscaping too. Anybody that owns a willow tree knows what I'm talking about. Every year after winter, you got to clean everything up. So, time to burn everything up. Got a pretty good sized pile of brush to burn. Been waiting for a day that's not windy. There's enough daylight left in today, which there should be. I might get a head start on that today. Grass is turning green. I'll probably be mowing the lawn within a couple, 3 weeks. And the cycle of life continues. Got a goose on somebody's lawn here. It's a cutout of one. It's not a real goose. Unless that goose is happy balancing a stick on its back, which I don't think so. I had to retape his head back on. The goose lost his head. Excuse me. So we just missed seeing the geese take off. Would have liked to have recorded that. I left too soon. That's because I'm on my walk. Oh well, maybe next time. This is that dangerous part of the road. When you come up on a crest like this, you have to watch what's coming over the top. If it's somebody losing control of their car, you only have a split second to get out of the way. Yeah, the guitar I made. Kind of an interesting story with that. Basically, it's all just spare parts I've accumulated over the years, and I made a guitar out of it. Looks good, plays awesome, sounds awesome. I had purchased a Seymour Duncan pickup clone several years ago, a good 10 years ago, and never used it. I changed my mind about the color I wanted. These were double white coils in the pickups, and I decided to go with black and cream. So didn't have a use for this, and I was like, well, I'll use it someday. And that day was yesterday. The guitar neck was one I had purchased as a blank. It was a blank, unfinished neck. So I put a finish on it, kind of a matte clear coat, and painted the face of it as the hockey stick headstock, like Kramer guitars, heavy metal style, and painted the face of it black, put a clear coat on that. You have to mask it off carefully and spray it. Came out great. The only thing I don't like on it after being finished with it is the tuners on it, the machine heads. They're kind of cheap. I have another set, so I'm going to be putting those in shortly. I need my new shipment of guitar strings to come though. I bought 7 sets. I like the XL strings, 9 through 42 for heavy metal, or Ernie Ball Slinky, 9 through 42 for heavy metal. Also the EVH, Eddie Van Halen 5150 guitar strings, are also very good. Well, let me tell you a secret. They're made by Dunlop, which does all the strings for Fender guitars, and they're basically the same thing as the Fender guitar strings, but a little more of a softer nickel feel to them, I guess I'll call it, for that Eddie Van Halen brown sound, which I love. So basically the three string companies, the XL ones are made by Diodario. They're very good strings, and they're such mass produced that they're cheap to buy and they're a good quality string. So Ernie balls are great strings and cheap also. I don't mean cheap like not good, I mean cheap as in lower priced. EVH strings are expensive, about $8.99 a pack to $10, and so are the Gibson guitar strings, which I use the Gibson guitar strings on my Les Paul because it just has that sound I want with the Les Paul. More of a bluesy classic rock tone, which is awesome. So I like to play different things, but basically I wired up this Stratocaster style guitar with just one humbucker pickup, that's it, and a white pickguard, full pickguard, with only the humbucker hole cut out in the pickguard. And I got one volume and one tone for that single pickup. And the pickup is a Crunchy Pat pickup, it's called, by GFS, which is Guitar Fetish, their own brand. Very excellent, underrated pickups. The Seymour Duncan clone that this is actually is a kind of a clone of a Super Distortion pickup by Seymour Duncan. The Seymour Duncan sells for $150. The Crunchy Pat sells for $60. And I'll be damned if I can tell you any difference. I've owned everything for guitar pickups. A lot of the cheap ones on eBay aren't really that good. Low quality magnets. But a lot of them are really good. GFS is one of them. They make good pickups. So Guitar Fetish is a really good place to buy pickups if you're interested in guitar pickups. And they got all kinds of different ones. Vintage 59 humbucker sound PAF to modern super hot heavy metal ones. Good stuff, man. A lot of fun. So this guitar, I played it so much last night, my fingers were sore, which is unusual for me. So that is the test of whether or not it's a good guitar, is if you can't put it down. And all the guitars I have are like that. And the ones that aren't like that, I get rid of them. Sometimes, you know, it's like firearms. You know, sometimes a firearm just doesn't do it for you. A lot of other people love them, but you know, for you, doesn't do much. So guitars like that, get rid of them. So we're walking along again with my friends on the internet. I don't have my LCD screen on, so I don't know if that's pointed in the right direction. I think it is. So I got a pretty good sweat going right now. It's in the 60s, but we get that dry Canadian air. It's not humid, so it feels like air conditioning. It's nice. That's another good thing about Maine. You know, down south pretty soon. It's going to start getting so hot you're going to be uncomfortable outdoors and you have to get into the AC. And a lot of times in Maine, we're supposed to have a very hot summer in Maine this year. What does that mean for Maine? Like it is for everywhere else. I think the hottest temperature ever recorded in Maine is 101. I remember a few July 4th weekends, 95 degrees, hot and humid, high dew points, really uncomfortable, sticky, muggy. And when we get that, typically what happens is, after a week or two of that, we get these really bad thunderstorms, and then it all goes away. And it's nice again. So for most of the summer, probably until mid-July, can leave the windows open, no AC on, which is nice. But pretty much the last half of July and all of August, the AC is on every day, pretty much. So while we get cold winters and sometimes it's harsh, we get rewarded in the summertime by not being miserable. Like today, it's 62 degrees. The air is dry. There's a breeze. Feels like air conditioning. Gorgeous. Perfect. Could not be a better day today. Today would be a perfect day for a mountain hike. We're gonna have good weather all week till this weekend. This weekend we're supposed to have a lot of rain Friday night into Saturday, which is going to ruin our range day Saturday. But Sunday looks good. 52 degrees Sunday with sunshine. Be a bit cooler than today, but the sun now, at that angle that we have, it feels warm. You know, a month ago when it was 50 degrees, it felt a lot colder than this. And today we got 62. So I'm getting spoiled today. So we'll see if they cleaned up the dead body I found. I don't know if anybody did or not. Probably not. Still there. It's still down here. This is that thing I called the police for, just to make sure there wasn't anything bad. As you can see, So the forensic person flipped that skeleton out of the bag, but that is a deer skeleton, poached deer. And I had called the police to make sure it wasn't a body somebody rolled down the hill, because I don't know a deer from a pig from a human skeleton unless it was a complete skeleton. So anyway, as you can see, it was right on the side of the road, and somebody just pulled up here and threw the deer bones down the hill in the bag after they poached the deer. I had wondered what this bag was, and the police officer told me it was tarp. Some burlap tarps in the trash bag somebody threw down the hill. So there you have it. Did my good deed. Kind of a weird feeling when you have to call the police about something, because you're like, you know, you want to look foolish or stupid, you know, so I told them right up front, it's probably nothing. It's probably nothing. But a couple of family members said I should call the police and report it at least, and let the experts determine it's nothing. So they thanked me for calling, and they had been getting other reports of deer poaching. So I don't know how much time and money will be invested into catching a deer poacher. I'm guessing not very much, considering there's hundreds and hundreds of deer in Maine, thousands of them. There's no shortage at all. So checking my battery and stuff. You can see we still have a ways to walk. Feeling a little better physically, loosening up a little bit. So 7 bodies in New England have been found. I didn't know that before I called and reported what I had found. I actually did a search, see if anybody had been missing in New England after I had seen it, debating on whether or not to call the police. And sure enough, 7 people through New England. We got Delaware, Maryland, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Nobody in Maine yet, but there's 7 bodies that have been found of women. And all of them were found not far from the ocean. Now, we're not far from the ocean, about 20 miles. So it just made me think for a minute. Now, it's one of those things, highly unlikely. But what if? What if, right? There's always that what if. So I called the police, reported it, and they checked it out, and it's nothing. Thankfully, I'm glad it's nothing. These things right here, this is what I hate seeing. It's labeled as poison. See that? harvested on January 23rd. Passed mandatory testing. It's legal marijuana. See, contains THC. Comes in these tubes, and that's all you see on the side of the road is people throwing these tubes out like that. Litter bugs. I hate that when people beep when they're going by. They see a camera and they want to be a superstar. It makes me jump every time. I don't like it. I'm in the mood to have a nice coffee. That's what I want. Also got to take some iron. Feel a little flat. If you're new to the walks with me, this is a fitness after 50 walking vlog. And what's important to understand is in 2008, I had a severe vitamin deficiency caused by celiac disease. Oh, they got a new flag out. That's nice. Celiac disease caused by poisonous processed food. Namely, the culprit for me was cornflakes. Took a long time for that to click. It was getting to the point where I would eat a salad or I would eat something. About 3.5 hours later, would get severe diarrhea, cramping, and all kinds of stuff. It was not enjoyable. So, because I didn't know what was causing it. You always think the worst, you know? Those are exactly the symptoms of colon cancer or intestinal cancer. So, anyway, I had a CT scan, didn't see nothing. Then I had a CT scan with contrast dye, still having issues. They don't see anything wrong. So they did a colonoscopy, which is not a fun experience. It really isn't. But I got scoped. They found a couple of polyps. That's it. One of them was the kind that 10% of the time turns into something bad, but not for everybody. Probably pretty normal. So I had that removed, and still nothing. Doctor didn't know what the hell, and it's almost like he didn't believe what I was telling him. So anyway, I started, because I was B12 and iron deficient, started taking vitamins. Felt a little better, but still no, you know? So finally, I had a talk with my doctor. I said, look, I'm not trying to tell you your business, but you're missing something. So I told him what I thought, that these were the symptoms of celiac disease and gluten. So we tested for that, had imaging done of my small intestines. Guess what? Inflammation. An autoimmune type inflammation caused by gluten, damaging my small intestines and causing malabsorption. So I wasn't getting my vitamins from the food I ate. So not even a month after cutting out cornflakes from my diet and other foods I suspected, everything miraculously cleared up. Like a miracle. Normal bowel movements again, and life is good. And how I knew something was wrong, I was at a movie for Iron Man, 2008. So I was pretty young at the time. 2008. And wasn't even 40 years old yet. Why am I having issues, right? So that's why I think the doctor had a hard time pinpointing what was wrong, because you're used to seeing things like that when people are old, and it's caused by something bad. So anyway, we got on top of it. So once every couple of weeks, I take an eyedropper of liquid B12 under my tongue so it can absorb directly in the bloodstream and bypass my damaged small intestine, which is scarred, will be for life. And I also get iron deficient. So the doctor had explained to me, after we figured out what it was, that the human liver stores 4, maybe 5 years worth of B12. Your body really doesn't use much. And it's responsible for your nerve health. So in 2008, the little fatty tissue that protects your nerve connections was shrinking, and my nerves were getting damaged. So I was at that movie, Iron Man, and my left cheek was tingling, and my left eye was a little droopy, which I still have some of that. I still have some numbness in my left thigh. The numbness I had on the ball of my foot on my left is gone. I had a numb spot in my wrist on my left. That's also gone. So a lot of it healed up, but he said it would never be 100%, and he was right. This was years ago. But the point is, that's why I'm a big supporter of RFK Jr. and MAHA, because our food is poison. Now, cornflakes from the 50s wouldn't have given me an issue. The modern cornflakes has been hot rodded. Malted wheat barley, which was the culprit. Corn syrup instead of sugar. The food we're eating now is junk. It's garbage. Artificial additives to keep cornflakes crunchy so they don't go stale in humid climates. Things like that. Don't need that in our food. Just don't. So RFK Jr. Announced they're cutting 2 food dyes immediately. From foods, artificial dyes, which are petroleum-based dyes. And a lot of people on the left, just because RFK is saying it, are saying, you know, they're going against it just because Trump, basically. Which is really stupid, because the red dyes that were just banned was done by the Biden administration. It just took effect now. So These people are mentally ill, folks. You tell them to go left to save their life, they'll go right just to spite you because Trump said to go left. Then they'll get hit by a bus. Pretty pathetic to watch, actually. So anyway, that's what happened with me. That's how I learned. I was also overweight. So, you know, as soon as I cut out all that bad food, started making my own food, all of this stuff took care of itself. Your body's pretty fragile when you put garbage into it, you know, because your body runs on what you consume, period. There's no way around that. So I'm glad I made changes. And walking for exercise is excellent for my health. Well, this has been an enjoyable walk today. Getting my vitamin D. I got my sleeves rolled up. Getting sun on my face. Checked 62 degrees. It's the warmest it's going to get today. I've got a day this week, it's going to be 66. Hear a motorcycle coming up behind us. Four and a half mile mark. Woman in my ear screaming about it. So like I was saying, I didn't walk yesterday because I was busy. So today, I have 2 hours of free time during the day, and I use it to walk. Cut across. Well, it doesn't get much more beautiful than it is today. It's been a long wait after this really long winter we had. This is much to be savored, which is another reason it's good to have seasons. I know some of you guys that watch live in places where you have palm trees and feel like it's cold when it's 60 degrees. I get that, but today is 62 and it feels like summer. Eagle over there circling. Huge wingspan. It's behind the trees now. A lot of eagles in Maine, bald eagles. I see them often. The hawks are smaller. They still look pretty majestic too, but the bald eagle's got that big giant wingspan. There's a couple of bald eagle cams in Maine on YouTube, those live cameras. They make a pretty good sized nest. I bet you a person could lie down in those nests. That's how big they are, because these birds are freaking huge. Get a sneaker that's squeaking. Guess we'll have to call it a squeaker. That's an annoying noise. Oh boy. I don't get it. My sneaker was not squeaking before today. All right. Fresh battery. And now my sneaker isn't squeaking. Well, now it's squeaking again. It started when I went down that steep hill and my foot pushed forward in the sneaker. That's really annoying. I'm gonna listen to that every walk. I'll start wearing something else, I guess. Playground right now. Kids are still in school inside. Later on today there'll be a whole line of cars here with picking up their kids. Just hit 5 miles. Hour and 32 minutes. We hit 5 miles. Pretty good time, actually. Girl on a scooter.
Hi.
Howdy.
What does howdy mean?
Another way to say
I don't know what howdy means. It's hard.
Isn't that cute? Turn the camera around. Well, we're coming up on the end of the walk. And there's two older people out here with their granddaughter hitting wiffle balls. Anyway, we saw that little girl on a scooter and I said howdy. She didn't know what that meant. Isn't that interesting? So her mother said it's another way of saying hello. You saw a gopher or a beaver, one or the other. Pretty sure it's a gopher. I don't think there's any beavers over here. Anyway, my friends, thank you for walking with me today. Didn't really have a whole hell of a lot to talk about. I will just say, be patient on the Tren de Aragua emergency deportations. The media is making it sound like Trump took a loss. He didn't. Basically, what the Supreme Court is saying is, let's slow this down, take a break on this, give us time to look over everything. So, according to what's written in the constitutional law, President Trump has every authority to deem people as a terrorist threat and a domestic terrorist threat to be removed forcibly. And you don't need to do due process for a foreign enemy. If you're not a citizen of the United States, what due process rights could you possibly have if you are a threat to American citizens? We don't do that with Al Qaeda. We don't, you know, they end up in Guantanamo Bay in an expedited fashion. But because this is immigrants and the Democrats feel like they have something, these activist judges are going to gum up the works. It's temporary. They're going to lose on this one because they're not citizens. So if they were citizens, that would be a different matter altogether. But they're not. So you're here illegally. You already broke the law when you came into the country. The law is the law as written. So a federal judge, an activist one, wants the Trump administration to give 21 days notice for every single person that files a case. So you got to give 21 days notice for them to get a lawyer and due process. For 20 million illegals, it would take 200 million years to deport them all. So that's not going to happen. The law is just being abused right now by activist judges. The Supreme Court's going to have to rule on it, and they will, and they'll side with Trump. The president has every authority to do that. It doesn't matter that Obama deported 3 million people, and nobody did anything about it when Biden was letting in all these people illegally. Now, because it's Trump, it's an issue. So it's one of those things. Don't worry about it. They're going to do this through his entire administration. Thankfully, it's not even May yet. He's already gotten more done than he did in 4 years, 2016 to 2020, in my opinion. So just hang in there. We're fine. So with that, I will say see you later. Thank you for walking with me. Click like and subscribe. Share the content. And as always, thank you for watching. And thank you for walking with me. We will see you soon, friends. As I say goodbye. See you later, everybody. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Bye-bye now.